future Alex. I'm contacting you from the year 1999. The SEGA Dreamcast is about to come out. And I'm so excited. You can tell it's the 90s because I have a pack of Gushers. That's how you know it's the 90s. Yeah, I can't believe we're about to get a new Sega console. So I'm recording this on a VHS tape, and I'm going to leave it in the Turbo Vault. So if you ever come across it, you can use it for an episode. I think you should probably do an episode based on like 5 cheap Dreamcast games. I think that would be pretty cool. I think, by the time you find this, they'll probably be on like the Dreamcast 7 or something. It's going to be a whole new era of Sega. I feel bad for the other guys, Nintendo, Sony, whoever else. I don't even know who else. I've heard rumors of some kind of like computer company entering, but I don't know. Sega is going to take over. They're going to dominate the game industry. So people are going to need to know what 5 cheap Dreamcast games they can buy. I don't know, probably market under $30 a game or something. And if you can, try to get a guest up, to appear on the episode, and post it to like some sort of like thing on the internet. I don't know what you would use on the internet, but like I think you could probably put this on the internet in some way, figure it out. So yeah, 5 cheap Dreamcast games. I think that's a great idea. First up is Virtua Fighter 3 TB. Now, Virtua Fighter 3 is seen as somewhat of a black sheep when it comes to the main Virtua Fighter games. Mainly because I think now it's looked back upon as like a half step between Virtua Fighter 2 and what they would go on to do with Virtua Fighter 4 and then 5. 3TB feels like it's still stuck in a bit of the Virtua Fighter 2 while trying to introduce some new elements. Like in this game you can fight on an incline. I know that may not sound that exciting, but trust me, if you're a Virtua Fighter fan, that's pretty different. I don't think any games ever brought that back. Also, it's got some new characters, and it's Virtua Fighter. Great game, honestly. I love the Virtua Fighter franchise because it's a fighting franchise that is equal parts technical as it is just fun. So you can just pick up Virtua Fighter and button mash. That is very possible. Granted, I think some of the AI might give you a lot of trouble later on because they get pretty hard. But you can button mash, and it is fun. It is fun to play with another person. But it's also it's more fun to actually learn the mechanics of Virtua Fighter, which is special among fighting games because it's deep and technical, and it doesn't rely on like projectiles or cheap shots. Not saying that I don't enjoy other games that have that stuff in it. I'm a huge fan of other fighting games, but Virtua Fighter just feels special because it lacks it, and it makes the game, I don't know, it makes me respect the game more. 3TB is a great game. I don't know if it would be my favorite fighting game on the Dreamcast. Probably not, honestly, because there were just so many damn good fighting games on the Dreamcast. But price-wise, 3TB is pretty affordable. This is one that you could pick up for pretty cheap. And again, if you're looking for a good fighting game to play with, a mom, dad, brother, sister, girlfriend, mailman, whoever it is, I think this is a great choice. Pretty easy to add to your library, and interesting. We're about to see a resurgence of Virtua Fighter with Virtua Fighter 6, and we kind of already have with the re-release of 5 they did not that long ago. So it's interesting to look back on this one, the one that's like less celebrated in the franchise, and see that even when like people consider Virtua Fighter at its lowest for the main franchise, not counting spinoffs, even when they consider Virtua Fighter at its lowest, like this is a pretty damn good game.
Namu. Fight 3. Ready, go! Namu.
Alright, when I make these episodes, I try to include something for everybody. So I try to go to different genres. That way, I don't know, I'm not just recommending the same type of game over and over. This is motherfucking Q*bert. Q*bert was a classic 80s arcade game about a little orange dude that jumped on blocks and changed them to different colors, and other creatures tried to stop him. Usually it was like a springy-looking snake, and there were some other weird-looking shapes trying to get you. Q*bert's classic, and Q*bert's interesting, because I don't see Q*bert kind of like abused as like nostalgia bait as I do other like 80s arcade games like Pac-Man or Frogger, or you know that era of like cutesy mascot arcade game. Q*bert, I don't really see Q*bert like plastered everywhere now. And it's a shame because Q*bert's damn fun. And this version of Q*bert not only includes like a 3D-ified updated version of the arcade game Q*bert, it also includes like an adventure mode with all new maps to Q*bert all over. And it has new characters. If that matters to you, if you're a huge fan of the Q*bert lore, there you go. And it's got multiplayer. It's got head-to-head multiplayer. And I think this one was probably overlooked at the time because it was seen as more of, I don't know, like too retro for the year 2000, right? The year 2000 is exciting. We want new and innovative games. So at the time, I can see this being a little overlooked because it is just like a 3D remake of the arcade game with some more stuff. But now going back to it, it's pretty refreshing, honestly. And it's a lot of fun. I think if you have a Dreamcast, this is an easy pick for, you know, if you're an arcade fan, because you can get a lot of like a lot of time into this game, a lot of gameplay out of Q*bert on the Dreamcast. Yeah, it's good. It's pretty damn good. That's what I can say about Q*bert. It's pretty damn good. When he dies, he still curses. I think that's cute. Q*bert. No, that doesn't work. Slave Zero. This game screams Y2K. Slave Zero is a third-person shooter. One big problem is that the Dreamcast doesn't have another analog stick. It only has one analog stick for movement. So how does Slave Zero work? you may be asking. Slave Zero works the way that some of the old Turok games or other games like that worked on console. You use the Dreamcast face buttons to actually move around Slave Zero, and you use the stick to aim. Now, admittedly, this is a little awkward at first. And in fact, in this footage you're seeing, I'm playing it on an Xbox controller, which was mapped incorrectly, so it was even more awkward to play. But once you get past the controls, I think Slave Zero is a really competent and fun game. It is fast. It is hectic. It's got some great music in the intro, at least. There's no music during the gameplay. And it does have a story, but I really didn't pay that much of attention to the story. So I couldn't tell you what's going on here. There's some sci-fi, Y2K, 2000s nonsense. But I just really dig the game's style and the game's gameplay. I think it's a lot of fun. And, you know, it's not often I get to include a shooter like this on 5-shoot games, because usually I stick with more retro consoles than even the Dreamcast. So yeah, I think Slave Zero, it's very, very affordable. This game has always been dirt cheap. And, you know, if you're paying like $10, I think you're getting a good time out of this game. I think it'll give you exactly what you paid for. Slave Zero is a lot of fun, and I don't know. I really don't know what's going on in the story. Something.
Generator 1 is hit. 1 down, 2 to go. Keep it up and I'll have to be impressed. Now get moving.
Select players. Uzujima.
Are we still following this guy?
He's the one making the zombies. To catch him, we have to follow. Let's go.
Now, before I hand the reins over to my guest for the episode, I have one last game here, and this is Zombie Revenge. Not only do I think Zombie Revenge is one of the biggest hidden gems, as Metal Jesus would say, on the Sega Dreamcast, I think it's one of the biggest hidden gems in the Sega library. I'm a huge fan of House of the Dead, which is a franchise Sega has long abandoned at this point. I think they might have had like an arcade game, I don't know, 8 years ago or something. So when I got my Dreamcast and I saw that there was a beat-em-up based in the House of the Dead universe called Zombie Revenge, I really had to try this game. Because, I mean, Zombie Revenge just kind of oozes all sorts of style that the House of the Dead games have. For one, it's very corny. The voice acting is god-awful in this game, and that's awesome. It also kind of reminds me of equal parts Resident Evil, and also, like, some of those awkward 3D beat-em-ups that were out at this time. I think of, like, the Die Hard arcade game and stuff. It kind of mashes them together to become this amalgamation. And it's fun, and it's fast. This is a great co-op game. You play as 3 survivors. You have to punch and shoot your way through levels and fight bosses, and you're always timed. You can't take your time in this game. You have to fucking move. And I think it's very brutal. It's a very hard game. You do have limited continues, which may annoy some people. But I think it's a great challenge. Like I said, when I got my Dreamcast, I think I got a couple games with my Dreamcast, like actually, I got 3 games like alongside my Dreamcast. But this was the first game I actively like went out and purchased, and I didn't regret it. I think Zombie Revenge is totally overlooked. I have played the arcade game for this, and the arcade game that I played was on like free play, so I could actually put the continues in and like beat the game that way. So I have finished this in some way. I've never finished it on the Dreamcast version though, because the game is very hard. I think you would really need 2 players to make your way all the way to the end of this version. Does it make it like not worth buying if you're gonna play single player? No. This game's awesome. Look at it. This game's fucking sick. You punch zombies and you can pick up guns and shoot them, and there's some crazy bosses. This game's fucking awesome. Zombie Revenge rules.
これも
Let's get ready to rumble! Let's get ready to rumble!
You want Punch-Out but with more stereotypes? Well, here's Ready to Rumble Boxing. Actually, I have some nostalgia for this game, so it was interesting revisiting it. So you got 2 game modes, Arcade, which is pretty self-explanatory. You play against CPU fighters, while Championship mode is more like an RPG simulation where you basically build one of the mini boxers up by leveling their stats with various training minigames, most of which are pretty annoying.
Ready, begin! Ready, begin! Ready, begin! Ready, begin! Ready, begin! Wanna be...
Engage in prize fights to earn more money to train, then enter title fights to rise up the ranks. The controls are pretty simple. The buttons punch. Depending on how the joystick is positioned, you can either do lower jabs or uppercuts, as well as string together combos. And the right and left trigger buttons block high and low punches respectively. Landing enough heavy blows grants letters that spell rumble. Get all the letters and you can activate a special rumble combo. The game is pretty fun, but for some reason the CPU boxers are just really hard to read. It's like they block all my shots and take me down with little problem. But maybe that's just more of a skill issue on my part. The game's fairly affordable online, so if you're an avid Dreamcast collector, check it out. It'd make a pretty good couch co-op game night with friends.
Oh, I forgot I had my camcorder still on. I was just eating these gushers. Do you guys still have gushers in the future? You probably do. They're so good. They're so good. I hope I made an episode about five cheap Dreamcast games. You're probably gonna forget you recorded this, because I'm feeling a little sick, so I'm about to like drink a bunch of NyQuil and go to bed. But I will leave this in the vault for you. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.